Thank you for taking the time to spend with us to discuss Calibre Coffee here in Barrington, Illinois, and to discuss our proposed plan for a new customer service experience. My name is Akshita Nerkar.
I'm Yalini Sundar.
And I'm Mahima Palaparthi.
Firstly, we would like to discuss Calibre as a brand. Calibre is located in the Arboretum of South Barrington and is a locally based cafe. The Arboretum is an open shopping center for all ages, with stores such as Panera, Small Cakes, and even Sherwin-Williams, meaning that it is a place for people from the ages of 5 to even 50. However, Calibre differentiates from other rivals such as Panera and Small Cakes because they are a place that typically contains adults who are in college, so in their 20s, and adults who are doing office jobs and work from home, who are mainly in their 30s, meaning that Calibre is meant to be a quiet place and a safe place for people who want to do some work. Calibre has a very muted color scheme, meaning that it was trying to attract to that specific age range. A big part of Calibre's brand is to be a very quiet and safe, secure area where it has many electronic services for people to charge their iPads, charge their laptops, so people can work in that environment. However, we have noticed that there has been an increase in teenagers in the Arboretum due to Barrington's low amount of places for teenagers, making high schoolers come to the Arboretum and especially come to Calibre. This has caused many old customers and new customers to lessen their amount of time in Calibre, since many find that teenagers are chaotic and can be loud and overwhelming for people who are trying to work.
Now, to further dive into Calibre's corporate social responsibility strategy of sustainable practices, we employed 5 research methods, and the first 3 being surveys, which we primarily focus on customers for, but we also used employee surveys to further gain a customer's understanding on Calibre's current social practices. And then we also decided to complete interviews with these customers, as these surveys might have some sort of bias at some moments, and therefore these interviews can give us a full scope of what these customers will understand. Lastly, we wanted to provide observational research, and this included going to Calibre once or twice a month and seeing how the baristas interact with the customers, and also how they react with Calibre's current social and sustainability practices. We also wanted to use secondary research with sources such as Harvard Business Review to not only understand what a CSR was, but also understand Calibre's competitors' corporate social responsibilities, so we can further develop Calibre's.
We also used Yelp reviews on Google to understand the customers' true feelings towards Calibre as a company. Because in Yelp reviews, we tend to see a pattern of people using their actual personality and expressing their actual emotions and opinions on Calibre, rather than in surveys or in interviews when there's a lot of self-report bias with these individuals. So our main five research methods were interviews, surveys, observational research, Yelp reviews, and our secondary research from Harvard.
Now we would like to move on to our findings and conclusions, which includes the 4 pillars of corporate social responsibility, which we believe makes for a good business and efficient results. And this includes environmental, ethical, philanthropic, and economic responsibilities. The environmental responsibilities include reducing waste and pollution, which promotes sustainability, and ethical includes livable wages, which Calibre more than does, and philanthropic includes making decisions based on what's good, and economic includes making decisions that benefit the customer no matter what.
Moving on, we would like to talk about the interviews that we held at Calibre.
So first, we conducted many interviews with our customers, but we primarily found 2 customer demographics that were very helpful in further developing our CSR. So the first one was a high school interview that we found was very interesting because the customer actually engaged with many of Calibre's current sustainability practices and would like to see more in the future. The second type of interview that we frequently experienced was those in the food industry itself, and they would like to see more customer interaction with sustainability practices, despite what we've seen with the high schoolers interviews. And so we will use this feedback to further implement and improve Calibra's CSR of sustainability.
Finally, we looked at Yelp reviews, especially those that are, we looked at the data between the 4 to 5 star reviews compared to the 1 to 3 star reviews. We had found that a vast majority of the reviews on Calibra's website were good 5-star reviews, 75% of them being 4 to 5 stars. However, a majority of the 1 to 3 star reviews were 1 star, meaning that many of the customers were very disappointed in Calibra's business and the services that were provided to them. But luckily, we had found that 24 of the 34 bad reviews, 1-star reviews, were taken from 2020, were before 2020, and most of them were from 2013, meaning that as a company, Calibra most likely changed and adapted after COVID and after the pandemic, becoming a better company and having more customers and getting their exact target market in their store. We also found that Calibra's manager would frequently respond to bad reviews and try to understand the customer's true reason for why they did not enjoy their stay. And we had found that one of these customers, who was from California, had thoroughly been very happy with how Calibra's manager reached out and tried to implement change, and she said that she would be coming back later on.
So we've gathered 2 reviews that perfectly encompass the highs and lows of Calibre. So one person had claimed that they really like Calibre and they would definitely come back, and they expressed their satisfaction with Calibre, while in contrast, another person had left a review stating that the high schoolers who were employed were very chaotic and disorganized, and that ruined their experience as a whole and Calibre as a whole. And we know that you and Calibre, you guys want to appeal to your target audience, which is an older demographic, generally ages from 20 to 40, and those people are generally more mature and in the working age, and so they would want to find a nice time and a nice place to come sit down, buy a coffee, and work on their own stuff. They don't want to be disrupted by laughing or yelling or screaming, and so obviously we would have to make changes to the atmosphere, and that would include starting with the employees.
Finally, we would like to introduce our proposed plan, which is a acronym called CUT. C being customer feedback implementation, where we would have customers do in-person surveys right by the exit, where they could quickly express how they felt in a fast manner without spending too much time. The U would be utilizing monthly taste testing because Calibre has an international menu, and we wanted to implement that because it shows how diverse Calibre is as a brand, and being able to have more food and more diversity and more people coming to Calibre would be much better for it as a brand. Finally, the T stands for training implementation. We would like to train any high schoolers or even adults who work at Calibre and train them in a better manner in order for their service to be up to par with our customers at Calibre.
Now, the first part of the plan is gathering customer feedback, and of course we are aware that Calibre does not have an efficient way of gathering feedback, so we plan to implement a survey system, which is similar to that of IKEA's and several other brands, so that builds its credibility, where we would place 4 buttons, a survey terminal, near the exit, for on-the-spot feedback, which makes it more accurate. So when customers are done with their experience on their way out, they can, with a simple press of a button, they can express their satisfaction for their experience in Calibre as a whole. And next to it, we plan to place feedback forms. So those are optional, and those who feel inclined to can fill out a feedback form and leave more detailed feedback rather than just a simple button. And they can place it in a slot, which will then be gathered after work hours and assessed. And we also plan to place a candy incentive right next to it, so it'll encourage more people to actually participate and fill out a form, and they can take a candy if they do. And this method would provide the data that is needed in order for your business to assess how your customers feel about Calibre as a whole and their experience, and then you can make adjustments accordingly in order to appeal to your target audience.
Now moving on to the second part of our proposed plan, which is utilize monthly taste testing. And so essentially what this would be is we would tie in the sustainability aspect by directly mentioning where these goods were sourced from and how sustainable they will be to see how customers can further interact. And with the survey that we have that Mahi just mentioned, this is a good way to gauge how customers are intaking the sustainability aspect of Colibre's policies.
Finally, we would like to work on our customer training and find new training methods for our employees. So we wanted to work with two new businesses on two training programs to properly hire and train our employees in methods such as role plays, or even giving some homework and to the employees to help them further understand our customers and understand what type of services they should be offering and how they should be respecting the customers and how they should understand that the customers are mainly here for work and for their own studying.
So now, in order to optimize the results of our proposal, we need to take into account the numbers. So let's go over the budgets. So first, we need to buy a terminal from Happy or Not, which is the survey terminal, and we recommend the professional package, which will give an in-depth data analysis, which is very efficient for your business. And so that you're looking at around $100 a month. And since you're only buying a single terminal, that will amount to $1,200 annually. And then with Docebo, we recommend the Elevate package, which is the cheaper alternative, but it also accomplishes more, and it provides AI learning insights. So it's more subscription-based, there's no single-time cost, and this would amount to about $25,000 annually. And then we want to hire training consultants to help with on-the-floor training and in-person training programs from Hill Food Service Consulting, and this is locally owned, so it's much cheaper and it's affordable. And we recommend the food service customer service certification, and you should enroll in that one as it would help with on-the-floor service training. And this would amount to $3,000 annually. And the rest of the costs are mostly miscellaneous. They account for employee bonuses, or supplying the stock that is needed for the monthly taste testing. So this is about $700 for all the materials, as well as $1,500 a year annually. So all in all, you're looking at a cost amounting to $30,800 with the annual cost, annual cost being $29,950, and this would lead to the 3-year cost amounting to around $90,700, according to our expectations.
And in conclusion, we would like to significantly help your business, Calibre, with your corporate social responsibility strategy of sustainability policies with the budget that we just mentioned, as well as a proposed plan, which had the acronym of CUT, which was customer feedback, utilizing monthly taste testing, as well as training programs to help solidify Calibre's sustainability policies all in all. With the research methods that we have provided for you guys today, we would like to further use these and start with the baseline of data, and then implement CUT, and then go forward with the budget. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.